Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Tanks Invest, talk about investing, finance, precious development. For today's video, items only. The investment on top of today will be Ethereum taking ETH. I know it's my second video that I'm posting again today. Respect to Ethereum, I'm recording as of 3:36 p.m. on Eastern time. Current trade like $2,240, up about 3.07%. So respect to the second video that I want to do today, it's mainly because of the fact that we are experiencing a lot of volatility in the recent time frame. I want to make sure that you guys are, obviously risk mitigating accordingly and not make irrational decisions based on emotions because these are, relatively wavy time. And also on top of the fact that today's my schedule is relatively flat. I have just like a couple of meet and greets, talking to students, mentoring students, but also at the same time, just like a couple of like high level calls with management teams. So not really anything substantive today. So relatively chill day. Also, with respect to the FOMC meeting that was expected to happen tomorrow, I want to be, reminding you guys on how to risk mitigate going forward. And we are seeing a surge today because of the whole Chinese tension news that we're cultivating with the anti-correlation effect. So I want to talk about that as well to, inform you why is it driving such a surge today when we should be expecting some sell-off today, right? So stay tuned, stick around, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis for Ethereum taking ETH. I'm recording this of 3:38 p.m. on Eastern time. Current trade like $2,238 level, up about 3% so far. And the surge we're experiencing today is a very simple one, right? It's mainly driven by the sell-off that we've across the whole equity market today. You could take a look at it, the SPY. We're currently down about 0.71%, and also with respect to NASDAQ, down about 1.42%. It's because of the diversifications that a lot of Chinese stocks are within the NASDAQ spectrum in comparison to S&P 500, right? And the sell-off that we see for Tesla down about 1.85% and NIO down about 8%. And I know one point we're down about 10.10%, which was highly oversold. So I actually bought 500 shares of NIO again. So currently I have about 8,000 shares of NIO. So relatively large position in my position, but I aim to get somewhere around like 10,000 shares of NIO someday. But obviously, I'm not going to be throwing all my money into one pot, right? And I will slowly dollar cost average and slowly risk mitigate and control the bleeding from there, right? So with respect to the whole overall crypto market, why is it surging today? Is basically because of the lack of volume that we've had today, number one, and secondly because of the anti-correlation effects that we are cultivating when there is a fear among the equity market, when there's fear among tensions between countries. Safe haven type of assets like gold, if you look at the price of gold today, is surging, and the price of crypto, which has some comparable characterization to gold, that subsequently surged up from there, right? And you can see that Bitcoin up about 3.2%, Ethereum about 2.91%, right? And with respect to the, this is a good time to buy now, right? I would say I would advise not to do so because of this news. It's mainly driven by the anti-correlation effect, and we also have some positives slash neutral type of news today, specifically on Ethereum. Basically, just position news comparing Bitcoin versus altcoin, right? And Ethereum is in the discussions in that just position article, which subsequently drives some buying pressure. But with respect to buying pressure, we have already been buying for the last 4.5 days so far. So today is just another one of those like neutral, moderate type of surge days, right? However, tomorrow is the FOMC meeting, and I know the FOMC meeting is actually happening currently, but it's a closed door event right now, right? And we haven't heard anything specific with respect to the media outreach. We haven't seen a transcript yet. There's in the closed door discussions in Washington D.C., which is the location that I think they're at right now. That with respect to the timing for the outreach or the release of the transcript, based on what I read so far with a couple of media publication companies and also on the Fed's website, it seems like it's 2 p.m. tomorrow, and I think they're gonna live stream it to give us more of a high-level summary of synopsis of what's going to be happening. And I think they right now just brainstorming among all the officials in the Feds. So we'll hear more, and based on consecutively in the last 3 FOMC meetings, every single time when Janet Yellen or Jerome Powell talks about inflationary pressure, about quantitative tightening, about tapering, right? US dollars appreciates, right? And today in the futures ahead of the market open, we saw that the US dollars are a little bit spiking, right? Because they were hedging that some sort of media affectation was going to come out today from the Feds. But obviously, it's a closed door event today that's going to durate from 27, 28, and seems like the schedule is going to be basically released tomorrow on the 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I will kind of hold off for now if you want to buy in right now. For if you think more of a short term perspective, but long term perspective, definitely Ethereum's gonna outweigh, the level we at right now. We're gonna be laughing at these levels right now. But in a more ideal level to dollar cost average at, is the level that we actually tested this morning, right? When these US dollars were spiking, right? Was at the level of 2,150. And today's low was 2,166, which was basically, $10 away from the level we identified. So I think tomorrow will be very likely that we will potentially get to the 2,150 again, or potentially even get to 2,050, right? Are we going to hit all the way down to like 1950 again? I think the likelihood would be relatively low. But we are running quite hot right now, right? We don't see any red candles at all in the chart so far, right? We've been just green up, up, and away. We have some normalization, right? But that's mainly driven by the equity side of the house. And we are currently, kind of dipping a little bit right now. If you look at the chart, is because is a reversal going on with respect to the equity market right now, that we are not as severely dipped as we were earlier today around noontime. So we are slowly recovering, and I'm very happy that I bought Neo around like 38.75 levels, which is the level I actually bought in 500 shares today. So I'm relatively happy. Currently do have a large position right now. But on the MACD and RSI perspective, we should have a little bit more of a leap down because we are running hot. We are leaning toward more of a, high moderate level of overbought. MACD needs to further cross down for us to recuperate and slowly form that curvature downward to ideally to the $2,000 level. And I think we should ideally buy at the $2,050 level, and then we should recuperate from there. And after this hump, right, basically 28th is a big challenge, a big obstacle. We have to jump through this hoop. And then after that, we should be seeing some buying pressure, right, on the Thursday if we have a dip tomorrow, right, which I think there's a high likelihood we will. And then it's the Friday and Saturday, which is the weekend affectation, right? We have to understand if there's any neutral news that's happening on the weekends or Friday, we might be having some sell off because people are taking profit, but who knows, right? The media affectation could spin the story oppositely, right? And if we hear anything specific about the London fork regurgitation again, ahead basically a week from then, we will see a lot more surging pressure and leap up all the way to test again the 2,450. And we break that 2,450, the next leap up will be all the way to the 2,750 and leap up all the way the next level 3,150 based on historical trends, right? So I'm gonna keep an eye out on it to see how we should risk mitigating going forward, and these are the level I would be dollar cost averaging going forward to risk mitigate. All right, just to recap all the numbers in the technical analysis again, right? The current level is, because of the fact that we are expecting FOMC meeting tomorrow, and based on historical trends, right? Based on just historical predictability, it's always been negative, right? I hope it surprises us. I hope it does, but based on historical trends, the probability of us selling off is higher than the other side, right? So 2,150 is a better level to dollar cost average. I'm just more risk averse and more conservative that way. I don't ever chase the pump, and I think that's a logical play for you to dollar cost at that level. And I think we have a high propensity to go down to 2,050 actually, because the RSI is pretty much leaning more of a high moderate overbought level right now. 1950, if we have really negative media affectation from the FOMC meeting tomorrow, obviously we will see how they spin the story, right, on how severe. We have to kind of read it with a grain of salt, right, whenever we read any news articles, right? However, with respect to corporate adoption, long-term vision-wise, $9,800, 4.6 times your money if you buy the 2,150. All right, so this is for today. Respect my technical analysis on Ethereum again. I hope you don't mind me. I believe I posted like 4 videos today, and I've been just talking nonstop for hours so far, both on my real job, but also on YouTube, but also to like my friends. I've just been talking for hours the whole time, been drinking too much coffee. So I guess that's me being a workaholic. I always feel like when I'm not working, I feel like I feel guilty when I'm not working. I also feel like I have that itch that I have to do something. I'm always productive. If I'm not like, I can never be just like sitting still or being static. I have to be like going to the gym. I have to be like working or doing something all the time. I don't know. It must be something wrong with me. But hopefully this is helpful into giving you that clarity, that structure on how you formalize your investment for Ethereum going forward. But really appreciate you guys for dropping by, and yeah, please let me know if you have any questions, and stay tuned for next coming up. Take care. Bye.